What's going on, football fans? It's me, J.R. Clark, back again with another Pound for Pound ATL. Joined as always by my two co-hosts, Jonathan Holder and Toby D. Toby, what's going on, brother?
Man, it's game week.
That it
Time to
is.
game plan. Start tomorrow. The game plan will start to be implemented. Getting
Yep.
ready for first and second down, and then third and fourth down, and all that goal
All
line stuff. So I'm
all
ready.
that good. Yep. Jonathan, what's up, bro?
Man, it's been a long time. It just feels like ever since the season ended. So, yeah, it's good. It's good to be back in game week.
That it is. It is. And, it does feel like it's been forever. I joked around. I said, all right, well, I said my 6 months hiatus of anxiety has now ended. So now it's going to get back in full swing. Um, every Sunday to Thursday, to whatever. And just so everybody knows, if y'all see me looking down, um, I am apparently in a draft for a fantasy league. Everybody else has nothing else going on a Tuesday. I got things going on a Tuesday. So, but just to let everybody know, all's right in the world. I just drafted Desmond Ritter. So the
Yes,
the now the team name makes sense with Ritter me this. So
yes. I was gonna say. I mean, it'd be what's your team name? Ritter me this. Who's
and
your
then
starting quarterback? Kirk Cousins. What about
Kirk
backup?
Cousins.
Uh, uh,
Um
Marcus Mariota.
Oh my goodness! Don't mention him.
no, heck no, don't do it. Anyway, well, we got a handful of things to get into, so I guess without further ado, we might as well just go ahead and get into it. So, as we've stated, it is game week, and today the official depth chart came out. I know that has everybody pumped and super excited to have the depth chart, right? But the reason why I wanted to talk about it, there was two things that I wanted to talk about. Is did anybody else catch the listing of Cordell Patterson?
Yep. Yep.
I
Like,
did not, unfortunately, because I did not get
okay,
to check it.
no, it's all good. I'm glad that you
But
didn't. So, what would you think a listing of Jay? Have you ever seen Jay on a depth chart before? Because I haven't,
nope.
especially not a professional like the pros. I have never seen a J before. So, what's your best guess, Toby, on what a J is?
I would probably be cheating because we talked before I got here. So I don't know if I want to say it or not.
No, all right.
But
Before we talked about it, what was your best guess?
I mean, of course, it'd have been a joker because you could use him as a all around player on the field, wide receiver, kickoff returner, and you can use him as a running back, of course.
Uh, that's what I went to was Joker. I've
Yep.
always seen that be on the defensive side of the ball. Um, Generally talking about like a linebacker or a hybrid type. Whether it's a linebacker safety or something of that nature. Um, let's see. Hold up. Uh, Gavin, appreciate
Appreciate
that.
it,
Gavin,
Gavin.
We thank you for that.
appreciate it.
Willie Doc has a guess. He says jump shooter.
Hey,
That could be. Hey,
I mean, Arthur Smith doing some creative things with the offense.
yeah.
Organic says, does J mean juggernaut?
Hey,
If
I
that
like
you're in
too.
that
the
too.
Marvel universe, possibly.
Jack of
Uh,
all trades. He could
yeah,
be.
yeah. YMOF Jamal says jack of all trades, and I
Yeah.
think it's very much like a J for Joker. I think is what um, more than likely what they're going for there.
Yeah.
Brief second, our good buddy Charleston Nash says, "What's up? Can you say what's
Charleston.
up to my twin Hamilton? What's going on to
What's
What's
going on,
up,
Hamilton Nash?
Hamilton?
What's
twin?
up, brother? I'm glad y'all are both in here
Twin,
with us.
twin, twin.
That's right. That's right. We like that. Um, the other thing that I thought was interesting as far as the depth chart is concerned or was concerned is that Tyler Algier was listed as the number one running back. He was listed as the first back. And I thought that, with all the crap that we heard all preseason about every time one of the unofficial depth charts came out and it had Tyler Algier listed as the third running back, like the Florios and everybody else would make such a big deal and be snarky about it. And
I think you mean Robinson.
no, I'm talking about like Mike Florio.
No, you're
From
talking about
what
Bijan
did I say?
Robinson.
What did I say?
You said Tyler Algier.
Oh, good Lord. Good job, Jared. This is what happens when I start multitasking. And I'm over here trying to keep an eye on a freaking draft. And anyway, Fred, we appreciate that.
Fred Butts.
Appreciate it, Mr. Butts.
He throws out our first prediction. He says the Falcons are going to win 35-10 on Sunday.
Woo.
We'll
35-10. Let's go, baby.
Love it.
But anyway, so yeah, Robinson was listed, first on the depth chart as like throughout all the preseason, he was listed third. And every time one of those unofficial, charts came out, you had like I said, the Mike Florios and everybody else making a big daggum deal. Some of our beloved Falcon content creators, some of them making a big deal that that he was listed as third overall. So what's your take on that, Toby?
It's kind of interesting because that would be a first with having them guys, like be at number one like that. Because I remember when Kyle Pitts, we drafted him fourth overall, and he wasn't even first on the depth chart going into the first week against the Philadelphia Eagles. So that's quite interesting. That goes to tell you what they want to do with this scheme right off the rip, in my opinion.
Well, it also speaks to his preparedness, right?
Yes, that too. Yep.
So like he could have all the splash plays and everything, but if he's not prepared in the running back room, if he's not prepared, out in the practice areas and things like that, like that preparation, the all the back end stuff that we don't always see,
Right.
that squared away. Because otherwise, if he didn't, then he probably would still be the back, like listed as the backup, regardless of what his snap count ends up being. He would probably be listed as a backup. The fact that he's listed as the RB1, then that lets you know that not only is he showing out on the field, he's showing out in the meeting rooms,
right?
In the practice, practice rooms and practice fields and all that stuff.
No, I agree. And then talking about like not wanting to just anoint somebody right away, even though we all know that's kind of where it's going to end up being. It's kind of like the Patriots with giving some like rookie number, like some obscure number like 52. And then before the season starts, they get their real number, kind of deal. And I feel like that's kind of like the way it was. But okay, now that's done. I feel all right. I ain't gotta be like distracted by that no more. Good Lord, that was a little annoying. Anyway, so another thing that struck me is Austin Douglas is bringing it up here. He says they're saying Jeff Okudah is going to play on Sunday versus. I have not seen that. He's still listed as the second cornerback or opposite of AJ Terrell, but Trey Flowers is the first immediate backup. Yeah. So I want to see what the injury report looks like when it comes out tomorrow. To my understanding, though, wasn't he one of the ones that practiced? Because like yesterday, the people who were missing out of practice, I don't think his name was one of them, was it?
It was Kadero Hodge, Cordero Patterson, and
Jeff Okudah, if I'm not mistaken.
Was it Okudah?
Now, if it was Okudah,
I think it was Jeff Okudah. They said Mike Hughes was back though.
Yeah, Mike Hughes is back, and I was going to say if it was Jeff Okudah, practicing yesterday or missed yesterday, it's going to be hard for me to believe that he's going to be practicing or going to be playing. I'm trying to see if I can't get that tweet pulled up. TA Big says Okudah is listed as questionable, and I don't think he plays Sunday. That's just my guess as of right now. Let's see. I don't see it. Oh well, I'm not going to spend a ton of time digging in on it.
I mean, why are we going over this? We know Pitts is going to get traded to KC because Kelsey got his knee hyperextended. Come on, it's all over Twitter, man. It's all over Twitter.
I have not seen that one. Holy crap, that would be. Oh, that would okay. Yeah, no, that ain't happening.
No, no.
Oh, that ain't happening. That ain't happening at all. Um, let's see. Okay. Marcus says, what's your honest opinion on how the Falcons will perform? I think Ritter has an unbelievable game and that the offense gets rolling. What's our thoughts? Based off of what we saw, I think the offense is going to be able to move the ball. Now, get into that red zone. Can they convert? That's going to be an interesting question that we're going to have to ask. But I think all in all, home game, the one they've been preparing for,
Hmm.
you're not going up against a very talented roster, not like you did a couple years ago or 2 years ago with Philly and
Yeah.
Yeah.
even last year with the Saints.
Mhm.
You're not going up against a very much more talented than you are.
Right.
Like we feel like we're on the more talented side as far as just how the roster stacks up, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so with
Well,
that being said, well, go ahead, John.
I was just saying, I feel like if the like if what we saw of the Carolina Panthers offensive line throughout the preseason, right? If what we saw from them and what we saw from the defense, the starting defense, if those two things play out, I don't think their offense is going to be able to do much, and they're I don't how much they're going to be able to protect Bryce Young.
That's gonna be the
I mean
thing.
that's the thing. So if Akuda doesn't play, then the onus falls onto the defensive line has got to get penetration. They've got to get
Yeah.
back there. They've got to make him move off his spot. They can't let him sit back there. And if you don't let him sit back there, then he's not gonna he's gonna make some plays on you. But I don't think he's gonna be able to consistently do that.
Right. One of the things that if I'm a Carolina fan that I would be concerned about is you're starting a rookie. Um, I think he was a rookie full time left guard on the right side. I think it was right tackle maybe. Um, which we have our own deal with Bergeron. So you could say the same deal there. They did seem to have a tougher time protecting Bryce Young than our starting offensive line. The one series that we got to see, Brian Burns. MJ says, will Brian Burns play? That would be huge.
Yeah.
That's something that he's hit them with this week. The deal of, kind of not being super happy with his contract. So it's going to be very interesting to see. But there was a historic stat that I saw that we know the Falcons are great at being on the wrong side of a historic stat. Rookie first round QBs in their first ever start is like for like the past decade are like 0-13-1.
Yep.
So that just bodes real well that that we're going to be on the wrong side of another historic stat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I read that today and I was like, oh come on, let's like why do we have to have that going against us?
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't like seeing that. I'm like, we're gonna be the one, aren't we?
I
God
Okay,
hope
bless.
not. I hope not, man. I hope we don't fall to a rookie QB. But I mean, Bryce Young is a very slippery type of player, and he made a lot of plays on the move when it looked like he was going to get him. He was like slick oil, and he was getting out of it. Now I'm just curious if he's going to be able to do that this first game of the week because he doesn't really have a good serious rapport with his receivers yet to do that like he did with Jamison Williams and um Michi. So I don't know if he's going to be able to do that just yet with Adam Thielen
and
and
DJ
company.
Chark and
Yeah.
right.
And DJ
Oh,
Chark could be a possible no-show in this game too because he had an injury.
right.
Yes, sir.
Fred Butts with
Hello,
another
Mr.
$5.
Butts.
Hey.
We appreciate. He says, I think Bryce will have a long day with our defense. This ain't Bama. He's too small. He had trouble with big defenses in college. We're gonna see. Like, he didn't get taken 1 overall for nothing.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
that's the part that I keep thinking about when there was an easy reason not to take him. You know what I'm saying? Like you could
Mm-hmm.
easily look at his size and say, nope, that's not what we're doing. At first overall, they still took him. So we're gonna see. Here's something I want to bring up. I want to see if I can do this here real quick. I'm gonna bring this over here, and we're gonna do like that. And then, all right, I'm gonna share the screen again. Here we go. Ready?
Yo.
Nope, not that one. This one. Bam. Okay. I want y'all to take a look at this. Well, since we're talking about depth chart, this was 2021. Okay. Defensive line: Grady Jarrett, Tyler Davidson, Jonathan Bullard, Jacob Tutu Mariner, Deion Jones, Foye Aluakon, Stephen Means, AJ Terrell, Eric Harris, Deron Harmon, and Fabian Monroe.
Mm.
Yep.
Dude, we've come a long way.
Boy,
Yes.
what you talking
Yes.
about?
I mean, there's only 2 guys on that. There's only 2 guys on there that we still have.
Right.
There's only one other guy on here that I kind of wish we still had, and that's Aluakin.
Yeah, I must have Foye.
Yeah, Foye. I would like to still have him, but past that, everybody else is like at best rotational depth pieces.
I don't even know if they would crack the rotation of what we have currently right now.
No.
Boy.
And that part is like I saw that earlier today, and I was like, man, that's kind of that's a long way.
Yeah, man. A lot of them are rotating on the couch.
Bernard says that defensive roster
Jeez.
was bad.
Woo.
Yeah. Like, and the
Man.
thing is, when they cut Jacob Tutu Mariner that year, he was leading the defense in sacks. Think about that. When they cut him that year, when they cut JTM, he was leading the team in sacks. That's how bad that was.
Wow.
Yeah.
And like I look at that and go, what was Dean Speed supposed to do?
Right.
You know?
Like well, so it's either this was like literally all we had and Dean Pease just had to make do, or the other side of that coin is Dean Pease chose these guys out of a pool of guys or whatever. So either way, it's just not a good. It's not a good.
No, it was.
No.
And it wasn't
that's
much better
horrible.
last year either. Like to be completely honest, it wasn't a ton better last year as far as
Well, the only bright side last year from the defense was later in the year. I will say this: later in the year, that defense started playing better.
Yeah.
They started like holding guys to like less than 21 points and less quite a few times in that last I don't know, third of the season or so. We just couldn't get anything going offensively.
Right. Oh, here you go.
But,
to interrupt your diatribe one more time, we have an answer. That's Cordell Patterson's new profile picture.
Nice.
So now we now know what the it is confirmed what the J on that depth chart is. So sorry, just saw that and I thought that was too good to pass up. But all right, so as we keep on keeping on, another Twitter controversy for everybody to point and laugh at. The captains were announced. 6 captains. It was Grady Jarrett,
Yeah.
Jesse Bates,
yeah,
Chris Lindstrom,
Yep.
Who was the other one? Chris Lindstrom,
Jake Matthews.
Jake Matthews. I was saying, I knew there was
Yep.
another offensive lineman. Was Youngway Koo one? I'm trying to remember. Hold on.
I'm
I'm
trying
gonna
to
scroll down.
see.
Hold on. I'm gonna
I
get
don't
to it.
remember if he was.
Captains. Here it is. Bam. Bam. Let's see. All right. So it was Grady Jarrett, Jesse Bates, Youngway Koo, Jake Matthews, Chris Lindstrom were all named permanent captains,
Yeah.
and they will sport the C. So obviously, there's a glaring name for most people missing off of that list. Is that a problem for y'all? The fact that Desmond Ritter was not named a captain in his first year as the full-time starter. Is that a big deal for you, Toby? What do you think? Is that a
That
big
would
deal
be
for
a
you?
no. That's a no, because you gotta earn it. Just because you are the starting quarterback doesn't deem you the right to just automatically become a captain of a team. He hasn't done anything yet to show other than the 4 games he played to show that he has earned the right to be a captain yet. Now, when he goes out there and he shows that he can be a captain, then 2024, he will get that C on his shoulder or wherever they're gonna put it, and he will be the captain.
Right? No,
And
yeah.
that should make him hungry enough to earn that title for next year.
Jonathan, what's your thoughts on that?
I mean, it's not a situation where I'm like, freaking out because oh my god, your starting quarterback or our starting quarterback is not a captain on the team. It's like it is what it is. And like you said, got to earn it. Part of earning that is getting out there and performing on the field. Like if you notice,
Right.
every single one of these guys are guys that have not only likely been really good guys in the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but they're also guys that have gone out on the field and they've produced, whether it's Grady
Yeah.
Jarrett, Bates, Matthews, Lindstrom, Koo, doesn't matter. All those guys have gone out there and performed and produced on the field. Um, the likely situation is that uh, like you said, if Ritter comes out this year, maybe he doesn't even necessarily have to be like doesn't have to ball out, and be super crazy good this year. But if he comes out, plays his game, uh, keeps us in games, helps us win some, doesn't lose us any or very few games.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if he's on the right side of that through this year, then yeah, next year I would expect him potentially to be a captain. Now, if he's not next year, is that a little worrisome? Maybe. But again, it all depends on like how things go. I mean, if we go through and win the Super Bowl and we just end up with the same captains that we end up with this year, I'm gonna be like, I'm totally cool with that. Keep everything as much as you can the same and do the same
Yeah.
thing. But at the end of the day, it doesn't bother me like that he's not a captain this year. Is for all intents and purposes, he's still essentially a rookie. And there's no
Right.
like if he wasn't there but Bijan was, then that
Maybe
might
that'd
be a
be
maybe. But
Yeah.
everybody here's a vet. Like nobody here
right.
is
Yep.
first, second year guys. So
King, yeah,
Yeah.
King Seven says
Yeah.
also those guys are either great or vets or great vets. They
Yeah.
yeah,
have
And
earned
they've
it.
been to the Pro Bowl at least once.
Right. And here's the
All of
deal.
them.
Gentleman on Twitter named I don't know if any of y'all follow him. His name's Andy Gallagher. He's sometimes a content creator, sometimes not. But he put out an interesting tweet a couple hours back that I was like, all right, I need to make sure I bring this up. Uh, Ben Roethlisberger didn't get captain until year 5. Cam Newton didn't get it until year 3. Tua Tagovailoa didn't until year 3. Uh, Jared Goff didn't until year 3. So, and these are all guys who've had varying levels of success, you know,
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
from the QB position. And I thought that was interesting especially about, Roethlisberger and Cam Newton,
Yeah.
guys that are beloved by their franchises, beloved by their fan bases, beloved by, the NFL at large, really. And neither one of those guys didn't get captain until, uh, later on in their career. So I myself didn't bother me one way or the other, but I think I'm with Bubba Gump over here. He says fans would complain if they had named him captain, saying he hasn't done anything. Uh, always like they say that always complain about something, and I definitely feel like that is the case with our fan base. But I also feel like
Mm-hmm.
that is the case with our fan base more this year than it has been.
Yeah.
It seems like it doesn't matter what transpires. There is a loud section of the fan base that is going to complain one way or the other, right?
Yeah.
MJ's
It never fails.
right. MJ's got a great point. He says if Calais Campbell isn't a captain, then people need to relax about a 24-year-old QB. His teammates preach about his leadership. He's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
That is a quality that was brought up quite a bit over the over the summer when asked by reporters, when his teammates were asked about him and what were some of his traits that stood out. Almost all of them to a T said his leadership.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think it'd be coming sooner rather than later, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like there's probably 10 guys right now on this team, maybe even more than that, but at least 10 guys right now that you could probably say, like, I could absolutely see them being captain. You're not going to have 10 captains. You're
No.
going to have, probably at maxes out at like 5. Maybe some teams have got 6, but most teams are going to have 4 or 5 team captains. And you're not going to have, the 10 guys or however many on a team that probably deserve to be. But, so it is what it
Well,
is.
here's
Yeah.
the key that I don't know. Tell me if y'all picked up on. You can laugh, like, as I've gotten older, I really start to like hone in whether it's been doing this for too long, been like studying my Bible for too much. I don't know, but it is to a point now where I really hang on words, like what words you choose to use, whether it's especially like a PR that like comb over this stuff before they release these things out into the wild. And one of the things that I picked up on was permanent captains. So these guys are permanent captains for the year.
Mm-hmm.
It would not surprise me one bit is if for the first game or the second game that Ritter's named the captain for that game or is sent out for the coin toss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, I don't know. I didn't know if I was reading too much into that or if I just like I said, that word permanent, like kind of pricked my ear a little bit there.
Yeah, I could see where you're coming from on that, and maybe that's the case. But again, whether he's a a game time captain out there for the coin toss or not, is not a big deal. Again, like you said, it's another bullet point for that section of the fan base that just wants to find something
To go on about.
to criticize.
Right.
And
Yeah.
look, I'm not against criticism of the team. I'm not
Yeah.
against criticism of Ritter or Arthur Smith or blank or anybody else. Okay,
Yeah.
criticize them all you want, but like if you're going to do it for something that matters, right?
Right.
Don't do it for the stupid stuff because then you just ends up in a boy who cried wolf kind of situation where like eventually people just filter you out because and don't pay attention to anything you say because you're just saying they just know that this new thing happened so you have to be
Oh
the
yeah,
negative
there's
Nancy in the room.
there's
Yeah.
some people that if I see their name pop up on Twitter, I just immediately roll my eyes. Like Fred with another $5, which we appreciate
Bud.
greatly, Fred.
Appreciate it, Fred.
Put it up
He
tonight.
says, yeah, he is lighting it up. He says, how is Bates a captain over Ritter? He wasn't on our team last year. Ritter deserves to be a captain. I'm gonna let King 7 answer this one because I think he answered it greatly. Fred, you're talking about the best safety in the league. Arguably, I mean, come on, that's the deal. It's
Yeah.
not just that he's the best
Mhm.
safety, but also he was your prize free agent.
Yeah.
Like
He was.
he was the one that you doled out a ton of money to,
Yeah.
and like he was probably throughout all of training camp and OTAs and everything else Like he was probably the one getting his praises sung by the coaching staff, I would bet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I hope y'all seem to enjoy the offensive video that we did last Friday. I hope y'all tune in for the defensive video that we're going to put out this week, or this is probably either Friday or Saturday, and you'll hear more of a reason why Jesse Bates was named captain, because he's going to get some work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is.
He like like if you were gonna say it about anybody on that list, let's see, where'd it go? I just had it. There it is. If you were gonna say it about anybody on that list, I don't even know who else you would say it about, but like Jesse Bates is a guy that you bring him in and you pay him that money and you want him to, he is expected to be a leader in your clubhouse. And so far he's shown that. So, and again, you got to remember, this is also I mean, as far as I know, this is not a coach given thing. This is not something the coaches dole out. This is something that the players
Tend to vote on.
tend to vote on themselves.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, then this is not Arthur Smith, or whoever giving him the C on his jersey just because he was a high price free agent. This is him coming in, getting the respect of the locker room, showing that leadership and having the team basically say, like, we want this guy as one of our captains.
Yeah.
Hamilton Nash, the twin of Charleston Nash from earlier.
Yes,
What
sir.
up, Hamilton?
He said, "This is Hamilton." Well, how good. I'm glad, Hamilton. How are
Hamilton.
you? He said, "I would like to hear y'all's opinions on this year's, Desmond Ritter and his weapons and potential. Also, if he works out, what is the next few moves for years to come?" All right, we're I think Ritter is in a good position this year to at least showcase whether he can be the guy or not, because you have spent the last 3 drafts on your first overall picks being offensive weapons,
Yeah.
Pitts, London, and Robinson. There should not be your typical starting quarterback, like your first high rookie quarterback problems, like what you see in Carolina and possibly in Carolina and possibly in Houston, as to where these guys don't have any real game breaker type weapons to throw to. With Bryce, you're talking about what? Adam Thielen, a guy who's definitely on the backside of his career. DJ Chark, again, a guy on the backside of his career. And it's really about it. You got Chuba Hubbard as your running back, so, and then out there with CJ, you're looking at Nico Collins, and it's about all I can really come up with for the Texans.
I mean, they had a big acquisition running back in Miles Sanders that they got from Philadelphia Eagles, because the Eagles let him run off into free agency. So that he's got explosive speed.
Didn't they draft a wide receiver?
I think they did. I know Jonathan Mingo. That was second round.
No. The Texans.
Oh.
Yeah, the Texans did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They may have. I don't know. But anyway, back to Ritter and his weapons here. I think, and y'all can, correct me if I'm wrong or expand on it, but I think Ritter he's given every opportunity to succeed. And if he ends up succeeding, then you've solved your issue at, quarterback.
Yeah.
And your next few moves for years to come might be, Jared Verse from FSU next year, in the draft, or potentially if Brian Burns doesn't, get the contract he's wanting, maybe you make a play for him. So that's what I would do. Toby, what do you think on the situation?
Man, I think Ritter is going to be perfectly fine. I think he's going to do well. Do I think he's going to just absolutely light it up? I don't know yet. I just have to see. But I think he's set up to light it up, and the weapons that he has, they put some great weapons around him. They know what he can do. They give him tall receivers because they know he struggles with accuracy sometimes. So having those
Right.
tall receivers that he's had when he was in college that can make those plays for him and make him look good. And like I said, I believe that he's going to be as successful as this running back group is that he has, because I think they're going to be a great safety blanket for him. And I think the scheme is going to be built around what these running backs can do. And that's going to lead to everyone else's success because of that. So if that is the case, what I'm seeing with these running backs, I think he's going to be fine and he's going to make a lot of hay in this season. So I think he's going to be great because of the weapons that he has, especially the running back group that's provided. And I know we're going to talk about that in at some point.
Yep.
If CP84 is as healthy as he needs to be to play for
Right.
most of the season.
Jonathan, what's well? Okay, hold on, Toby. Hold on, Jonathan. Toby, what do you? Okay, so say Ritter pans out and the weapons pan out. What's your like top priority next year?
Keep building your defense, man. Keep building your defense. I think you're gonna be all right with the safety group with Richie Grant and Jesse Bates. I think you'll have them at least 5 years here starting together. But I think you need to keep building that front defensive line, that first. That defensive line, keep building it up on the defense. So if I'm the Falcons in 2024 draft, I'm going defensive line with that first pick, wherever it is that we're picking at.
Yeah,
Because you went offense for 3 years now, so it's time to change that up.
Jonathan, what's I agree, Toby. Jonathan, what's your thoughts?
So I think when if we look at the question, I don't necessarily think that the Falcons have built the team up around Ritter. I think what they've done is they've built a team.
Yes.
They've built a team with weapons, with what they believe to be a better defense. Their offensive line looks to be progressing, so we'll see how it goes this year. But as far as the weapons go, you put those weapons in place so that a quarterback, and right now this quarterback is Ritter. If they can come in and do the job, then they should be able to have success. Now if we get through the end of the season, Ritter has not done the job properly. The good thing is that you're not bringing. It's not like how many years that you draft a guy like, for example, the Texans they draft Carr as an expansion team. They didn't have anything around him.
Right.
They had nothing around him, and which is understandable for an expansion team, but that's not a recipe for success. No matter who you are, whether you're I can't remember his first name, but Carr's older brother, Derek Carr's older brother,
Derek.
David.
David
David
Carr,
Carr.
Yep.
David
Yeah.
Carr. That like he's just in a no-win scenario. But whether that was him or it was just about anybody else in the NFL who's behind that offensive line with those weapons, you're probably not going to be successful. So what they've done is they've gone and they've built the team so that they presumably, if Ritter doesn't make it, you drop a guy in. Now, if he does make it, right? He comes out, plays well this season. We're not talking MVP or anything, but the guy comes
Yeah.
out, plays really well. Maybe gets you to the playoffs, maybe a division, whatever. In that scenario, I'm fully behind. Like, depending on how, I guess it really depends on what goes on during the season with the defense. But like Calais Campbell's not going to be here forever. He might
Right.
be here one more year,
Maybe.
Yeah.
maybe. Okay.
Maybe. Yeah.
Then you got Grady Jarrett. He's going to be here. David Onyemata, he's going to be here. But then you got guys
Yeah.
like Bud Dupree. Does Bud Dupree go back to, Steelers? Bud Dupree. If he goes
Yeah.
back to Steelers, Bud Dupree, then that's cool. But then what does Arnold Ebiketie do? Does he ascend this year? If he ascends, it shows us that he's getting further along in his progression. Then that's cool. But if not, then I think next year you start to look at, okay, who are the big pass rushers, whether that's a Brian Burns or whoever
Right.
else, and you got to get like, you need to have, or I would really like to have, even if it's just the one, I would really like to have a dominant, because like when you saw T.J. Watt going against the twos, like it was no joke, like not even
Yeah.
a contest. And I
Right.
and I want a guy like that.
Right.
Whether that
Yeah. Oh,
comes
yeah.
from the draft or that comes from free agency.
Yeah,
That's what I
we ain't
want.
had that guy since John Abraham.
John, yep,
Right.
And
Mr. Abraham
Right.
was the
yep.
last one.
All right, Willie Doc with a
Willie
$5
Doc.
tip, which we appreciate greatly.
Man, Willie.
Willie says he's kicking it old school. He says, "Can
All
we
right.
give?" He goes, "Can y'all give an on the fly Falcon eye view?" That is old school, bro. On the defensive approach to Carolina that Nielsen will implement. On the fly Falcon eye view that he would implement, in my opinion, is play some like do the two high safeties. Try to keep it in front of you. Try to keep Bryce Young's throws at the short to intermediate where you can rally to the ball. We did have a very high blitz rate in the preseason, which was something we are going to get into on Friday/Saturday, whenever that comes out. But I would imagine that with it being a rookie, his first start in the NFL, like, yes, he's cool, calm, and collective, but I'd blitz the piss out of him if it was me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Like send him everything that he ain't seen.
Yeah.
With the sim pressures or the post. I would definitely try for, like, if I'm Jerry Gray, I want to do like the post snap rotations with my back end. Show him a too high shell, and then post snap bring one safety in. Give them a middle field open look to begin with, then
Yeah.
rotate into a middle field close. Just do what you can to try to confuse them. That's what I would try to do. Jonathan?
Yeah, I mean the same, but like I want to see pressure packages. I want to see multiple like 6 and 7 man like up on the line of scrimmage guys. Not all of them are going to come, but you'll get 6 or 7 guys, figure out and have him try to figure out who's coming from where, try to set his protection, and maybe even like you said, definitely want to do the post post snap uh, transformation of the
Right.
defense from one thing to another.
Yep.
You don't see that in college a lot. You can simulate it as much as you want in practice, and you may see some of it in preseason, but you still don't have a ton of reps against it. You don't, just being able to recognize it is not going to be as easy now as it will be later in the year versus next year and so forth. So the time to do that stuff is now. And if you can do that while you're also blitzing and getting home, that's however many times we blitz doesn't really matter. It matters that when we blitz, it's impactful,
Right.
Yeah.
right?
It causes
So
an impression, leaves an impression, whether it's a sack or what have you.
yeah,
Batted passes, things like that.
I'm not.
So
I'm not saying. I'm not saying. I'm not saying he'll be like this, but like I remember so many times watching us play the Panthers when Cam Newton was the quarterback. I could tell you probably by the end of the first quarter, usually no later than like halfway through the second quarter, how that game was probably going to go. Because if we blitzed or just got to Cam Newton and hit him multiple times early in a game, his accuracy was going to go to crap. And he was going to start throwing off his back foot. He was going to start seeing ghosts and all those things. Now, do I think Bryce Young is going to have that particular problem? Who knows? But I'm going to test him out and see.
oh yeah. Toby, what's your game plan?
I'm going A gap blitzes all day long. And I'm gonna flush them out of there because with the guys you got up front, Anya Mata and Grady Jarrett and Calais Campbell, they're gonna give you that ability to be able to A gaps blitz. I mean, Caden Ellis, and I'm expecting Caden Ellis, um, Landman, and Troy Anderson because of that to have a great day with them A gap blitzes because I think that's exactly what they're gonna do. And if they do flush them out, he won't have a chance to make a throw because we'll have somebody like a Calais Campbell over there or Lorenzo Carter or Bud Dupree that's right there to clean up the mess when he's trying to scramble out and cause him to make throws that aren't going to be successful against guys like Jesse Bates that will be out there waiting on him.
Right.
So I'm looking for those A gap blitzes to be called early and often as much as they can with the linebackers they got out there in Troy and Kate Nellis.
No, yeah, I think MJ was kind of agreeing with you. He says, have Troy Anderson on a QB spy. And he said, and I kind of use that as like that green dog go. You know,
Yeah,
if their guy don't go, then they take off kind of deal. He said that speed matches up perfectly if Bryce tries to scramble.
yeah,
Man up everybody and let that D line eat. Uh,
yeah,
yeah, I think you're going to see a good bit of man coverage, I believe. And I think with we touched on the receiving core that they have. I think AJ and whether it's Jeff Okuda, which I really feel like it's going to be Trey Flowers. I think they're going to be able to handle that. So we'll see how that shapes up. Uh, Another question from Three Dirty. He says,
okay.
other than a win, what does Ritter need to do to at least have this panel, being us, to be optimistic for week 2? Well, that was a good question because maybe we're coming off a little more reserved. I know generally this offseason, us three have been in more of a wait and see type mode, especially when it comes to Ritter. So, Jonathan, what does he have to do to have you in here next week going, all right, done deal. We're good. We're good. We're golden. Like have you being optimistic. What does Ritter have to do for you?
I mean, I could say he's got to throw for 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, 350 yards, all that stuff. What I want to see out of him is really no matter what happens in the game, no matter the outcome of the game, right? I want to see him getting the ball out on time as much as possible. I want to see him. I would like to see some maybe a little bit better accuracy. I don't expect him to be perfect every throw, but I would like to see a little bit better accuracy on some of his throws. I would like to see no turnovers. I mean that is for sure something that I would like to not see. Uh, but it also is like it depends on what kind of turnover. If we're talking about he hits the guy, perfect throw in the hands, bounce, the receiver drops it and it gets picked off by a guy. I'm not giving. That's not his fault.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't do much about that.
Yeah. So I want to see him making good decisions, and I want to see like him making good, making plays when they're needed, right? So the big third downs, big fourth downs, whatever those situations where a play has to be made. That's what if he can do, even if he doesn't do a whole lot first and second down, but then come third down, he's like, I don't know, we're like uh 10 for
107.
15 or something like
Yeah.
that. On third downs for the day, I will be happy with that.
Yep.
So it's not the overall yardage, it's not the overall scores, it's not the one stat I will say is I don't want to see any interceptions if at all possible. I don't want to see any fumbles. I would just like to see clean play and make plays when they're needed.
Right. Toby, what has Ritter got to do to you to be? What does he got to do for you to be all like hyped coming here next
I
Tuesday?
I need to see him recognize what's happening on the field, what the
Yeah.
defense is doing, being able to spot the opportunities quickly, with his reads and seeing who's open, where the mismatches are. I need to see that. I need to see how he handles his hot reads.
Right.
Because those will be important. They are going to come after you blitzing as well with that Broncos defense. Okay.
Yeah.
Knowing a little bit about the guy over there on the defense side of
Yeah.
the ball.
Evero.
So yeah, so you're going to see some blitzes from these guys coming at you. So I need to see how he does. Last year I started to see a sample of him handling hot reads pretty well. I want to see that carry over this year. If he comes in here and he's able to spot the mismatches and take advantage of what he's seeing with the guys that he has on that offense and handles his hot reads well, and they can come out with a win because of that, I'm gonna be super excited because I got these boys going to the Super Bowl, so I really need to see him do this. You know what I'm saying? So, hey,
For me, it's a I need to see. Well, what will have me excited is you go back and watch that one and only drive in the preseason. He was calm and in command
mm-hmm.
the entire time,
Mhm.
and that's what I want to see. You've had a whole off season as a starter or as the starter. You've had like I truly believe when he came in last year for the last 4 games, I truly believe that they were still operating the Mariota offense because it was 4 games left. Let's just keep doing what we were doing. Well, now you've had a full season, like you've had a full off season. We have seen that this coaching staff has reinvented the offense each year they've been here.
Mm-hmm.
And I expect them to do it again, to reinvent it again, to better accentuate, like
Yeah.
better
We got
focus on the group that they have this year,
you. Yeah.
better focus on the quarterback that you have, his strengths, his weaknesses, these kind of things. And so what I want to see is my quarterback have that command
Right.
and be able to, like y'all have been talking about, make the right reads. Uh, look at the check downs. It's going to be death by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah.
With a lot of short to intermediate, passes. That's what it's going to be. So, like stat line wise, he'll probably be somewhere around 200, 250 yards. Unless he can get a couple dump offs to Bijan that go for a ridiculous amount of yards. But that's what I expect, and we get that and a win. You'll have me singing a pretty good tune.
Yeah.
Come next Tuesday. All right. Oh, keep right on rocking. Our
Well, first of
boys.
all, first of all, yeah, I was gonna say, go
Yeah,
ahead.
he says, my guys, crazy late, but we're here.
What
Hey, we
up?
are glad you are here, my man.
Glad you're here, brother. The other thing like, Fred is like throwing me some shade here, saying that I am never positive. I mean, come on. I'm extremely positive, but I'm also realistic. Come on now.
All right. Well, one of the last topics we kind of alluded to earlier, just now being able to get to it. And what's up, Millie Mills? Glad you decided
What
to
up,
join us
Millie?
tonight.
Millie
All
Mills.
right. Should we be worried about CP84? I know we spent a little bit of time earlier in the show talking about the Joker designation on the chart, on the depth chart, him changing his profile picture, all that good stuff. But like, should we he ain't practiced in what about 2-3 weeks, huh? I
It's been a
can't.
bit.
It's
It's been a bit.
I think it was like after the first preseason game. He
Right.
hasn't really done much since.
Yeah, because he wasn't on the field for any of the preseason at all. It's been soft tissue type or soft injury type stuff. And, with the practice report yesterday, he practiced yesterday. And we're going into game week. Like, what are the chances are we going to see CP84 on the field come Sunday?
Dunstan, you want to go at it?
Do I think we're gonna see him on Sunday?
Yeah.
I haven't looked to see if he was out there at all today. I know he was not out there yesterday.
I hadn't seen anybody report anything about today's practices.
Usually on
Yeah.
Tuesdays, everybody's off. They come back on Wednesday. Usually, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought it was Monday and Tuesday they came
Yeah,
back.
No, it's
yeah. Tuesday is payday.
right.
Now that's I knew an ex football player that played in the NFL, so he would always tell me about that. They would come in on Mondays and on Tuesday usually that's their payday. They be off that day and then they come back to game plan for the week.
Yeah. So like we'll see. I guess we'll see tomorrow, like you said. But I would say I'm gonna throw it to the. I'd say no, probably not. You probably don't see him this week. But watch it come out tomorrow. It's like, oh, he's a full participant. Ready to go.
That's gonna be. I was gonna say that's gonna be my
On
tell.
Friday.
Yeah,
The
obviously.
shortest practice period.
Yeah, obviously my tell is gonna be what does the injury report say tomorrow? But
Yeah.
I'm really starting to getting a little worried, because he hasn't practiced in about what feels like about a month. So I'm gonna say I don't think he's gonna be on the field this Sunday. I feel like at home against the Panthers, which we've talked about, they know they're not devoid of talent, but their defense is still pretty talented. But you're talking about a whole new regime, everything else. Like they may feel a little bit more confident that uh, Tyler Algier and Bijan Robinson can handle the load per se.
Yeah.
So I say if he's on the injury report at all tomorrow, I don't think he plays on Sunday. Toby, what do you think?
I'm concerned about him. I was concerned about him last year. I watched how he ran last year when he came back from the injury, and he was a little ginger running the football. Now, when he was catching it, he didn't seem as fearful. But when
Right,
he was running it, you didn't see the burst that he had in 2021 and in the first few games before he went on that, injury report and on IR. So I'm concerned about him just a little bit and if he's going to be able to muster it full strength this season. And as far as him not practicing, I mean, the guy is not young anymore, so his workload, they're probably trying to manage it and just to make sure if he can go, that he has a better chance of going.
right.
Now, as far as the offense goes, yeah, even though they didn't show a lot of stuff, I think he knows a lot of the offense. So whatever we are going to see with him and Desmond Ritter that we didn't see with Marcus Mariota, I think we'll be fine on that front too with him knowing all the plays in the playbook. So I'm not really worried about that, but I'm just concerned about how he's going to look when he gets the ball in his hands and he runs with it. Is he going to be somewhat on the I don't want to say scared side, but just a little bit
A little bit
timid.
more ginger,
Yeah,
type.
like he was when he came back. So that's what I'm going to be looking at to see is his burst fully there.
Yeah, especially on kickoffs. Like if he's out there, is he, do they protect him by? I mean, because they still have him listed as the primary kickoff guy.
Yeah.
Uh, oh, one thing we didn't talk about, but our boy D. Alford did win the punt return job. I don't think. I mean, after that punt return to Miami, I don't think it was a question, but
Yeah.
solidified that, and
Yeah.
then he also won the nickel corner job. D. Alford did, which with the money that they paid Mike Hughes, he almost felt like that he was going to be, a shoe in no matter what, but he might have missed
Yeah.
too much time.
Too much
They
time.
may
Yeah.
not feel like he's,
Hmm.
ready for that role just yet. So that's something to
Yeah.
kind of keep an eye on.
Yeah.
Uh, King Seven says CP84 is cool. I think Arthur's really taking it easy with his players. He takes no chance letting those guys push if they aren't 100%. That's been like his deal. Like Millie also says is like he'll be on the field. Smith just loves to protect his vets and from further injuries whenever he can, especially CP. Uh,
Yeah.
I think that may have a lot to do with it. Like I said, I'm really interested to see what the injury designation should be. Um, like Millie also says, to be honest though, if he's not on the field Sunday, he said I might start to think that the trade rumors are kind of true. I don't put much stock in the trade rumors. I don't know how many teams would be willing to give up anything that you would be willing to take
Yeah.
for CP84 at this point. Really.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and it's like I said, we'll know more tomorrow. But I think if there's any question, like even if it's just like, yeah, he probably can play, but it is what like. But if there's even just a little bit of a question in the back of coach's mind, probably not going to play him.
Right.
Get him that one more week, let him get really back up to speed, and then get him out there for week 2 if he's really actually ready to go. I think that's probably what we'll see. I mean, we could be like I said, we could be surprised tomorrow and he's full participant, ready to go. But we'll see how it goes tomorrow. But right now, my thought is we're probably not going to see him till week 2.
Yeah, I kind of think so as well. Because we got
Yeah.
who we got week 2? Crap.
Oh no, who do
Hold
we?
on. I got it right here.
Is it Green
Green
Bay?
Bay. I was gonna say
Yeah.
yeah, it's Green Bay.
Yeah.
So yeah, they may be wanting to rest him up for Green Bay. Who knows? All right. Kinderson says, what would be considered a successful good season for 23? I think we've answered that a handful of times.
Yeah.
Successful is on the low end a winning season.
Yeah.
Okay. That's to me, that's the floor. Like if we turn in another 7-8 win season, I'm going to be a little disappointed. High end to me should be playoffs, whether that's NFC South, whether that's wild card. I
Yeah.
think to me the range is winning season, playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Like that's where
Yeah.
I'm at.
Yes.
Toby, where I know where your high is. Where's your
Yeah.
low, Toby?
10-7, at least crack the 7th seed.
Okay. Okay. Yep.
But my high, of course, is I have these boys going to Super Bowl. I actually think they can do it. I think they have the talent. I think they have the coaches now that can help them do it, and
Right.
they have the players that can match the coaching styles and what the coaches want to do schematically to do it. So yeah, my low is 10-7, crack the 7th seed spot. If you don't win the NFC South, I'm not worried about that. Or you win the NFC South and you take your behind on to the Super Bowl and you win that thing. So that's my
There it
high.
is. Jonathan, where are you looking at?
I want to see. I want to see a winning season. Like
Right.
I no, like that is the bottom of the barrel for me. Now, does that mean that if we don't make it there, that I'm like, oh, fire everybody?
No. I'll be
No.
disappointed. I won't be fire
I,
everybody, but
yes,
I'll be starting to rev up the engine of fire everybody.
uh,
But that's end of the season talk.
yeah, but yeah, absolutely. Like winning season is bottom of the barrel. I would like to see a 10-win floor is what I would like to see.
Right.
And then, maybe get it up to 11 or 12 wins and maybe take the division. Like, that would be overachieving, in my opinion, this year. That would be my thought.
MJ's got a good question here. He says, who will be some surprise inactive Sunday? Like last year, first game, Tyler Algier was the surprise inactive. So who you got for a surprise inactive on Sunday? I already got mine.
I have to look at the depth
All right,
chart
if y'all
again.
gonna take that long, my surprise inactive is Scotty Miller. I think Scotty Miller
Oh man.
might be inactive on Sunday. Who you got
Whew.
there, Toby?
Oh my goodness.
I got another one too. If y'all want to keep going with this,
Oh my goodness. Oh man, that's a tough one.
I got another one.
Um,
Keith Smith.
I
yeah, you on the
no.
roll. You on the roll, but I don't think it's gonna happen. But
No, what you
I'll
got?
tell you what, my surprise, and I know he just came back. I'm gonna say Mike Hughes.
Okay.
I'm gonna say, he's been practicing,
Uh huh.
but they are expecting some things out of him, especially on special teams. I'm gonna say Mike Hughes will be my surprise if he's not on the active roster on Sunday.
Jonathan.
Um, I think if we're going wide receiver, I think Josh Ali would be more likely to be inactive
Yeah, but
than
that wouldn't
Scotty
be a
Miller.
surprise. The whole point is like the
Yeah,
whole point is like, oh wow, they made that guy inactive.
uh,
Uncle Steve says Michael Pruitt. Uncle Steve's loud. He
yeah,
said
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
Michael
I
Pruitt.
could go really crazy, and be like, yeah, it's Kyle Pitts inactive.
yeah.
Okay, well,
I
crazy
got
but
another one.
realistic.
I
All
got
right.
another one. I
What
think
you
that
got,
would
Toby?
would, would be a surprise. Arnold Ebiketie.
Ooh,
If
Ebiketie.
he's inactive.
Eh, nah,
Uh,
I don't see that one happen. But yeah, like,
I don't think this would be a surprise, but Keith No Sweat says Helms. Helms
I
being
think it would be
inactive,
a surprise.
I could see that happening. Like
John
he,
Fitzpatrick,
Yeah,
John
I was going.
Fitzpatrick.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah,
because
okay,
you only have the 3 tight ends. Like you don't have
yeah,
4 like they've carried before. So
yeah.
if they
True.
sit him, then you only got Pitts and Smith.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
true.
all right, Fred Butts with another $2.
Red Butts.
He's making it rain today.
Yeah,
There
he
he
Um,
is.
is.
he says,
Appreciate it, Mr. Butts.
how many touchdowns do y'all think Ritter will? I'm going to finish it out by saying have against Carolina. So you, Jonathan, you're saying 2. I say he throws one and runs one. I think. I think that's so. I'll
Okay.
give him 2 as well. I think he throws a touchdown and he runs a touchdown in. Toby?
Okay. Ooh, I'm sorry, my mind just went blank just then.
Uh-oh.
What happened?
How many touchdowns do you think Ritter will have
This
Sunday
week.
against the Panthers?
I'm saying two touchdowns, at
2
least two.
touchdowns?
That 2 touchdowns, 200 yards. I think
Oh,
that's
yeah.
been something that's been hanging around in my mind. I think 200 yards, 2 touchdowns
Okay.
should suffice. I'm not looking for him to blow you out the water with 350 yards a game and stuff like that.
I'm looking for anywhere between 200 to 250
Yeah,
passing
Yeah.
yards,
I think
and
somewhere,
maybe like 30 to 40 rushing yards.
I
Maybe.
think
yeah. Oh yeah, that'd
like
be good.
the way I look at it is I'm looking at like, 2 to 250 passing, 2 touchdowns, however they come, whether it's pass or run, 40, 50 yards rushing. But I think the completion percentage on those passes is hovering right around that 62 to 65%
Yeah,
is
Okay.
kind of what that seems to be the stat line of a Arthur Smith coached quarterback when they've had a solid game, kind of deal.
Yep.
So that's kind of what I'm looking for, at least especially in the first game as Ritter starts to, feel himself, so to speak, as the season goes on. Rick wants to know, how do you guys feel about Okuda being a Falcon and his ability to match AJ Terrell and stay healthy? Stay healthy is a big one.
yeah,
But if he can stay healthy, I do think he has the ability to be a very good complementary corner on the other side of AJ. They were both drafted high, first round in the same draft. Okuda obviously was higher, but
yeah,
but I think that he possesses the talent and the ability, and they believe in him. You've seen that for some of the clips of that Jerry Gray's talked about. Now he just has to stay healthy.
yeah,
Yeah.
Uh, let's see.
I'm right there with you. Like if he can stay healthy, he's looked good from what we've seen in practice and what have you. So
Yeah,
I want to see him. I want to see him, have success here, and I think he can as long as he can stay on the field.
yep. I tend to agree. Oh, did y'all see that Falcons worked out a handful of undrafted running backs today? That
Hmm.
I did
doesn't
not
bode
see
well.
that.
I just saw this from Kevin Knight.
Well,
Cameron Peoples, who was an interesting guy out of App State. And that's the only one I really recognize. The other names I don't necessarily recognize. So I wonder if they're gearing up for possibly not having a third, fourth back. You know what I'm saying? Like needing a back.
yeah.
Let's see. King says, does Bijan make a big run of 20 or more yards with the Panthers? I think he busts one. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I
His
think
first game too.
the game against the Bengals in the preseason, like he almost broke one. Like he breaks that last tackle, he's gone for a touchdown.
Yeah.
I think especially if the Falcons can get the running game going early, and have them bring up that extra safety, so you have less of a backline defense. With his speed and agility, I think he can make it through to the third level. And then once he's there, I don't know if anybody's going to catch him.
Yeah. It's going to be a
Um,
business decision to tackle him too.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of Bijan, how many all-purpose yards will Bijan have in week 1? That's from
Woo,
Mario.
man.
So how many all-purpose yards? Do you think he breaks 100 in his first game as a rookie?
I'll say
Because
yes.
I'd give him 100 all-purpose yards.
Yeah.
All purpose, I'd say potentially, yeah.
I mean, because I can
Yeah.
easily see, 40, 50 yards rushing, and then with a couple dump offs,
Yeah.
taking over somewhere between 100 and 120 all-purpose yards. I can see that.
Yeah.
Especially just off that one drive. I know we're basing so much off of, but there was so much to see off of one drive that was a vanilla drive.
It
And
was
that's
like 20, it was like
Yeah.
almost 20 plays.
right.
Yeah.
And like in that, you had, a 12-yard run, a 7-yard run, a 15-yard pass, and had the Bengals not challenged the challenge that they lost, he'd have had a receiving touchdown of
Yeah.
15 plus yards. So, I mean, you're almost looking at 50 to 60 yards, on that one drive between both pass and run. All right. I want to wrap this
So
start.
I
Go
saw I
ahead.
saw I saw one here. Another PR. One of the more important questions.
Oh,
Do we go defense or offense for kickoff?
offense. Let's get the offense out there first. Set the tone. Like you
Toby?
gotta.
Well, usually from what the Falcons have shown, when they won the toss, they would go defense first. So I'm thinking that if they win the toss, they're going to go defense gets out there first and see what the defense can do to slow down Carolina so the offense can get out there and get going.
Uh, Bobby D. Blasting Game says 126-yard rushing and 23 catches.
Woo.
Screenshot. You talking about for Bijan?
Woo! Good lord.
He's the only one touching the ball in that scenario.
So is. It shoot almost more than quarterback. Shoot.
All right, we're gonna wrap this thing up with a slice of life type topic here. I just as when the show started, I was doing a fantasy draft. So my question to y'all: who is your first fantasy football pick? You got the first pick in the draft in your fantasy league. Jonathan, who you picking first?
Uh,
I want to hear it from the chat too now.
First overall pick.
Yep. Yeah, you got the first pick. Snake style draft, so you got the first and then the last or whatever, however that works out. So you get to your first pick. Who you got?
I'm going Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes. You're going with the QB first. Okay. All right.
Yep.
Toby, what you got? And then we're gonna get into the chat, see what they got.
Because I've already done this, I would definitely do it again because this is my second year doing it. Jamar Chase has to be my first guy taken off the board. He's been the most consistent the couple of years that he's been in the NFL, and I won't change that now. I
He's
was glad when my boss dropped him.
he in our Falcons content creator league, Jamar Chase was the first pick for the 14 pound for pound.
Yeah.
We'll have to keep y'all updated as the season goes on with that. Des God says Desmond Ritter. That's brave.
That is very brave.
Now he's
That's
my
some bold
backup
stuff, Doc. Hey,
because
do it.
I had to make sure we got him because, like I stated earlier, my team name is Ritter Me This, so I had to make sure to get him. But he's on the bench. Billy says Jetta's Justin Jefferson out there in Minnesota. That's
biggest problem maybe with them is you add Jordan Addison. Maybe if he becomes more of a legit target, then that may cut into Jefferson's productivity a little bit.
Right. King says, "LOL, Bijan. He was ranked number 8 in the draft that I did." To Big says, "Kyle
I just couldn't see myself taking Bijan because I as a rookie, we know what we think we're going to see. We just don't know what we're going to see yet."
Right. That's kind of my deal. Is like I have a tough time taking any rookie first overall.
Yep.
So you got Kyle Pitts. We got Chris says Joe Burrows.
He was on my mind when I was thinking Mahomes. I was also thinking like Burrow because he's got Chase, but he's also got T. Higgins. But then again, he's also injured, and he's kind of gone through some injuries already in his career. Right. So is he going to be able to survive the season? We'll see.
Let's see. Every season says he had to take CMC because was the last pick.
It's not bad.
It's still not a bad pick. It's still not bad.
Not a bad pick at all.
Cool. That was like I said, that was like a little fun slice of life type deal because I know a lot of people play fantasy. We don't necessarily do a lot of fantasy talk on here. Every time we've tried, it is like So we don't do much on the fantasy front. But like I said, we are in a creators league, content creators. So I may have to give y'all a weekly update on how team pound for pound fared.
Yeah. We're definitely going to have a section starting next week with like how did our fantasy football team do, and what kind of changes do we think we need to make, that kind of stuff.
Right. MJ's got the best pick of all. Big Low with the easy pick. Big Low. Like how can we forget? Big Low. All right. Oh man, that was a good show, guys. I appreciate y'all being here for it. I appreciate y'all being in the chat for it.
I'm just glad everybody's willing to listen to us. We're on
man.
for an hour and 15 minutes.
There it is. Like I said, we will have the defensive side to correspond with the video last week. That'll be out on either Friday or Saturday, depending. And we'll be back live on Tuesday, hopefully talking about a win, talking about a dominant performance. That's what we're wanting. That's what we're hoping for.
Yes, that is exactly what we're wanting and hoping.
As always, y'all can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Grimm1128, GRIMM1128. Jonathan?
At Jonathan M. Holder. Come by and say hi.
Toby D.
Toby D 1991, baby.
That's right. Always hit that bell, subscribe, share. If you want merch, it's in the bio. Either way, yeah. We're so glad y'all are here.
That's all. That's all. I have so much fun coming in here, chatting up with you guys, getting it going with the chat. This is like one of the highlights of my week.
It really is.
Yeah, man.
It really is. All right. Anyway, we could sap on another day. I'll take care. As always, Falcons fans, rise up.
Rise up.
Rise up.